government officials insist that this is an isolated incident.
Welcome back. Another edition of the Buzz Podcast. Hi, your boy Cujo coming to you again on another beautiful day. That every day above ground is a good day, right?
Yes,
That's
you got
always,
that right.
it's always a good start, right? As you see here, we have a very special guest in the building. She is a CEO, owner. What else? How else can I throw this? Owner, CEO, business personnel, businesswoman. She goes by the name of Mary Lou Morales. She owns Tranquil Minds Behavioral Health, who is one of our sponsors for this week's or this year's fourth annual Pillow Fight, Mijo Palooza. Mary Lou, appreciate you making the way out here. Appreciate the sponsorship again. I know Mijo Palooza and Mijo's Foundation all really appreciate that. Like I said, it's for a great cause. It's going to be fun. We got pillows, we got beer, we got we got all kinds of crazy shit. Welcome.
Thank you.
Talk to me now. The Tranquil Minds Health, or behavioral health. What exactly is it?
So I think I can back up a little bit as
Okay.
far as just how we were, we came to be. So as far as Tranquil Minds Behavioral Health, we were I founded the company or started the company in 2023. So we have been around for 3 years already. We started off initially with just offering therapy, but then we now do case management where we're able to go into the home and provide services for clients that, might need that additional support.
Okay.
And then we also do medication management as well. So it's kind of like a one-stop shop.
Okay. Medication management. What is that? You make sure these people don't overtake their medicines, or what does medication management mean?
So it could mean, or it means that we refer the client to the psychiatrist, and
Okay.
then they'll make the determination if they need to be on medication.
Okay.
For any of their diagnoses.
Okay.
And then they monitor them throughout.
Throughout.
Yeah.
Okay. So what got you into this field in the first place?
So it was by accident, to be quite honest.
Wait a minute. Were you on the meds?
Yes, I know, right? So in 2002 is when I came across behavioral health, and it was because at that point I was looking for a job.
Okay.
And someone, from my family was like, you know what? There's an opportunity at one of the hospitals, inpatient hospitals, psychiatric hospitals, and it was for a unit clerk position. And I was like, you know what? I need a job. It doesn't matter how far it is. I'm going to go not knowing anything about it, right?
Yeah.
And once I got there, I really fell in love with it. And it's because, they put us through like a ropes course training. Like
what is ropes course training?
So every day we would do something different. So for example, one day we would go to a sweat lodge.
Sweat lodge.
Yeah.
What is a sweat lodge?
Where you go, so it's like kind of like a sauna, but it's like it's enclosed, out in the wilderness, and they put rocks like in the middle, and it is really like a sauna in there.
Okay.
And it's supposed to help you spiritually, and so that was one of the activities that we did. And then we would do hikes. We actually did rock climbing out in Waco Tanks.
Okay.
So it was just a lot of different things, but those were the things that they had the kids, the adolescents doing,
right,
or the adults that were there at the hospital. So I really it was really intriguing to me because that I had never done that. And during that time that I needed the job, I was going through my own personal issues.
Okay.
So it really helped me even, with my spirituality and my emotional well, the emotional support I needed.
Right.
I built like really great bonds with the staff there, and so that's how it started for me. And ever since then, like I never looked back. Just helping, I worked with the adolescent population a lot, so just working and helping them with their situations, and placing them in foster care homes or whatever it was,
Yeah.
but just seeing them actually progress throughout the time that I got to work with them, really made an impact in my life.
Yeah.
And then just from there, I started going to school. I got my bachelor's in social psychology, and
Okay.
then after that, and it took me 10 years, okay, to get my
Yeah.
because I had kids on my
Yeah.
of my own.
That's kind of hard to do.
Yeah, so it took me a long time, but during that time, I was able to, continue working in the field. So that helped me a lot. And then I went on to get my degree in my master's degree in health administration, and then my last master's is in social work.
Social work.
Yeah, so
Man.
I went from working, I worked in 3 different hospitals that are here local. And again, the experiences, I mean, I took away a lot from them.
Yeah.
One of my last jobs also was traveling, all over the country, like different states, and being able to open up outpatient clinics or serve as maybe like an interim
Okay.
executive director or something like that for inpatient clinics where they needed the help the most. So I got to see other communities as well, and where there was a need for services.
Okay.
So for me, it really opened up my eyes, and I said, well, why wouldn't I want to do something for my community?
Right.
And that's how Tranquil Minds came to be.
How did you decide on the name Tranquil Minds? It's the more I hear it, the more I'm like, it puts me at ease. Like, was there other names that you had other than Tranquil Minds, or how did you decide on that?
I mean, I looked up a lot of names just
Yeah.
to see what exactly they meant, and things like that. And for me, like tranquility was just something that stood out to me. And I mean, that's really how Tranquil Minds got
Just
its
came through.
name. Yeah.
So for those people that automatically, when they see something like a behavioral health, right, they start thinking automatically the person that they're talking to or whoever owns that is a psychologist. That's not the case, right? But you do have some kind of psychology background.
Correct.
With that psychology background, how often do you find yourself psychoanalyzing people, like when you're meeting them, or just not so much just at work, just like in general, like say I mean, hell, even today when you walked in and you're like, we finally met. Like,
Yeah.
like how often is it automatic? Does it kick in automatically, or can you block that part out?
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily. I mean, I meet different people and I take it at face value. Of course, if they start opening up to me and talking to me maybe about, their struggles or ask for advice or things like that, then, I try to not diagnose people, but, try to see where they're coming from and how I can help them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you leave me a card later on and start talking about, something that might need medication, so I shouldn't take that to heart, or should I be expected that? Should I be expected that later on, or oh God,
No,
no? All right,
you're good.
All right, on your word, I'm gonna go with that. Now with this crazy time, I'm I'm in my mid 40s, and I've seen like the development of what our society is now. Because when I was younger, we had no internet, we had no, it was all about going outside, playing with your friends, going, just hanging out, interacting with people. Now I rarely see that because everybody's home either on the PlayStation or on their Wii or on the Instagram, on the TikToks. How have you seen with the development of all these social media? How have you seen that affect our youth right now?
It has made an impact.
Yeah.
Because they don't have those social skills necessarily to be able to deal with like day to day
Right.
situations. So it's always behind a screen,
Yeah.
right? So we see a lot of like bullying that
Yeah.
kids come in because they're being bullied through social media. And when we were in school, I mean, if someone had an issue with you, they would, approach you or
Yeah.
vice versa, right? So you still had that social interaction,
Yeah.
whatever the outcome was,
Right.
but it was in person. And now you don't see a lot of that.
No.
So it does really affect
Yeah.
our youth, and that's something that I personally do ask parents to monitor the time that children are using or spending on their electronic devices or just whatnot, because even that interaction within the family, sometimes parents give a laptop to a kid just for peace.
Yeah.
Peace
Yeah.
at the dinner table or something,
Right.
and that's not the solution.
Yeah. So what would you recommend as far as for the amount of time somebody should be, like, say, a young teenager, 12, 13, 11, people barely coming into that era? What is a good, like, recommended amount of screen time would you recommend?
I mean, I can tell you just personally, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's no really
Yeah.
right or
Right. The
right.
right or wrong answer.
Yeah. But I can tell you, like even with my granddaughter, we tend to, well, for one, she has access to her tablet if she, is doing well in school.
Right.
So that's a given, right? And she understands that. And for two, the most is maybe an hour that
Okay.
she'll get, and it's in between like her or after she does her homework or after dinner. So it's just really up to the parents' discretion,
Yeah.
but really putting other things of importance first and making them understand that that's how it should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know we've talked about it before, and like you said, back in the day, if you had issues with somebody, I mean, 99% of the time it got physical. After that, it was done. Here nowadays, you're catching hell at school for whatever it is that with the bullying or whatever it is, and then you go home and it's still 24/7 hitting you from all aspects because everybody has some type of either Instagram or I don't even know if Facebook's at the end. I think it might just be the older generation that is
Yeah.
a Facebook thing and the Snapchats and TikToks and all that. And again, people are always getting misinformation from people that they like, influencers that want to say that they're this, that, or the other, and are pushing whatever they're being sponsored for, and they're actually doing more damage than they're
Then
actually
good, yeah.
doing good. But what with what you guys offer, I know we were talking earlier. You're saying you guys are a more holistic approach. What does that mean?
So, as far as a holistic approach, we do a lot of aromatherapy.
Okay.
So we'll have like diffusers on while they're in session, clients are in session, and I mean, a lot of our clients seem to like that.
Okay.
So we use, very calming scents, and we do promote like meditation. We encourage, like yoga, or we encourage those things even that are outside of our clinic,
Right.
because those are just a lot of I want to say newer things. I mean, they've been around, but you see it a lot more now, right? As
Yeah.
far as like yoga at, I don't know, in Trans Mountain, or like different areas
Right.
throughout the city, and it's something that clients or all of us can benefit from.
Do you recommend a lot of grounding?
Yes.
Really? Okay. Can you tell people why, or first of all, what grounding is, and why do you feel grounding is essential?
So grounding techniques can be anything, as far as like even like you're outside, and if you can focus on maybe 5 things that you see, 4
Okay.
things that you smell, or 3, it just really depends on your sensories and just your senses, and just making sure that you're grounded, you're aware.
Okay.
So that's why it's really important, because we want to make sure that you're aware of yourself in the situation. that you're in, right, in
Okay.
nature.
Right.
Or even inside, like for example, that's one of the things when we give presentations we talk to kids about, right? Like if they're having a bad day, or besides like deep breathing or things like that,
Yeah.
the grounding techniques is something they can do, while they're at school, and
Yeah.
without it being too noticeable, but just them being aware of their surroundings can help them a lot.
So I know you're talking right now about the sensories, how you want to reset it or focus on that. Do you guys at the clinic have any sensory deprivation tanks or any of the float spas, or have you tried any of the float spas?
Actually, we haven't.
No,
No.
I would highly recommend. It is nuts. I've done oh man, I don't even know if my guy Robbie still has his place. So what it is the float spa. Basically, well, there's different types, right? But the ones that he had two different ones. He had the original one, which was like a casket. It's a bigger casket where you could like kind of almost stand on it. As far as for me, I'm almost 6 foot, right? So it's basically like 2 feet of water with a bunch of Epsom salt. So when you're in there butt ass naked and you're by yourself. Everything's turned off. You're just floating because of the Epsom salt. You're just in there for an hour, floating. And the first time you're in there, it's. Let me tell you, you know you're in there for the hour. Like the time is hell because you're not used to floating, because anytime you think you're in water and you feel, you catch a little wave and you feel it going one way, you're automatically, you panic and you start trying to, but again, I mean, you could almost feel the bottom of the with your butt, right? Because
Yeah.
you're not that much. But when you're in there the second time I did it, that hour flew by like in 5 minutes. Like I was seeing colors and I was seeing all kinds of crazy shit. And
Really?
I've never understood why exactly that is. I guess because the mind just takes off because there's nothing there. And I know I've heard a lot of great things as far as for people that are dealing with a lot of anxiety, a lot of people dealing with a lot of different mental health issues. That was like one of the that was like the hottest thing around a few years back. And I'm just wondering, like, what's the hottest trend now for the holistic approach?
I mean, I think for the holistic approach, it's like I mentioned, to meditation. We do encourage, and it kind of sounds like when you take a bath, right? And it's a relaxing bath, what you
Yeah,
explained. That would be a great technique, and,
yeah,
and something that our clinicians, probably do encourage in their sessions. Or I would like them to, because it'd be something similar to what you explained. Maybe not being in there so long to start off, but
right.
something, to recommend, and see how the clients respond to that. So yeah, I mean, I think there's just a lot of different techniques that can definitely be helpful. It just really also depends on the client, and it being like client centered,
Okay, right.
because what something might work for one, like for example, even when I was in school for my social work degree, part of it too was, we would go through exercises of like meditation,
Okay,
and sometimes your mind just starts wandering, and it's just, it may not be for everybody,
right.
but it's worth a shot, right? And
Yeah.
see if it does help. But I can tell you, for me, because I would do my classes like towards the end of the day, so really trying to decompress for for the whole day and everything that had happened, and then to do the classes, and then your instructor's like, okay, let's do a 5-minute meditation, and you're trying to focus, and your thoughts are
Everywhere.
everywhere. That would happen to me.
Yeah.
So again, it's really client centered, and what's the best
Okay.
for the individual.
When you guys start recommending meditation, do you guys actually show people how to do? I guess, is there like a proper technique to how to meditate?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much we do explain to them, maybe the environment to be in a quiet area, close their eyes, maybe sit on the floor, like in our office, we have like yoga pillows,
Okay.
and so we do use those a lot for the kids. Because we get also to their level and we try to explain to them different techniques.
Okay.
So I mean that would be something good for anybody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've always been intrigued by meditation, because I know I've done, like, I mean, obviously, as you can see back here, big Wu-Tang fan, big karate, the martial arts and whatnot. And that's one of the biggest things of the Zen movements, or the Tai Chi also is meditation. And I've never been able to, I mean, granted, also I haven't really had time or not look into it too much, but like I've always wanted to know how to do it. I don't know how. And then when you see, well, I mean, on YouTube, you can find out how to do everything, right?
Yeah.
You can learn how to fucking do a liver transplant on YouTube. But I like everybody has different methods to it. And I was wondering if there's like one clinical way that people teach, because I just, for the life of me, I just can't do it. Like, I don't think I have ADHD, but I just can't do it. I just
And
can't
it just
sit
takes
there.
it takes practice too. It's not something, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
because it doesn't necessarily come natural.
Right.
Especially because like our brains now are so wired into like, having electronic devices, and we're just always on the go, like thinking.
Yeah.
So it is something that slows you down, and you're able to really look like within yourself, right? And that's not easy for people.
No. I think about my problem is that I've seen too many movies
Yeah.
where, they sit you down to meditate, and within like 10 seconds you're seen talking to spirits and shit like that.
Oh,
And I'm
yeah,
like,
no.
yeah, that doesn't happen here. And the only people talking to me is usually my dog just yelling at barking at me for no fucking reason. But with a lot of I know a lot of the hottest thing out these last few years, especially after COVID, was the ayahuasca meditations and all that. Have you dealt with any of that,
Honestly, no.
or looked into any of it?
No. And that's something that does interest me, so I'll look into it. For
Yeah, because I
sure.
remember we had a shaman on one time, and he was talking about the benefits that they see with all the ayahuasca, the trips and whatnot, and it sounds wild, but I mean, anytime that you try to take something to have an out of body experience kind of worries me. You know what I mean? This is a lot of body, so to come out of this body kind of fucking scares me. But I was wondering, like, what else is there out there that people could do besides getting in touch with nature, besides the sitting down and meditating. And I know, like, saunas now, a lot of the saunas are leaving the old school steamed rock method. They're all going the infrared.
Yes.
Have you found a difference, or do you know if there's a difference within the infrared style saunas? Or those actually help out more in any which way, or is it just the newest product to push?
No, actually, recently I had gone to an event, and there was a company right next to us that they actually were talking about. They have those saunas, and all the perks that come along with it.
Yeah.
So it is a sauna, and then they have the red light,
Yeah.
going, and all of that has a lot of benefits, not just mentally, but
Well,
physically.
yeah.
Uh-huh. And the other thing too is the cold plunges.
Have you done those?
I have not. Well, no, I have not. My husband did.
Okay.
And that that worked wonders for him. As
Really?
far as, yeah. And my son does it too.
What did it do for them?
It really just puts you like in a mental state. I mean, I don't know. The way they explain it, or at least what my son explains, is that it kind of resets you.
Okay.
So he feels, kind of like brand new.
Yeah.
Once he does that, he'll do the cold plunge, and then he'll go into the sauna
Yeah.
right after that. So just even having that routine, is something beneficial
Yeah.
for him, right? And
Right.
and I'm sure it could benefit others.
Yeah, that cold plunge just the thought of it. I've seen a lot of those.
I mean, I would be willing to do it one day, but
but
but I don't know. I mean, maybe I'd go with him.
Yeah.
To see how
For them
it
to
is.
guide you.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they're usually not in there for longer than at first. I think they say 30 seconds is what you should aim for. Then I think they go up to 3 minutes. I think is what they recommend because it's nothing too crazy because you're in 40-degree water. I think it is right.
Yeah.
It's something wild like that.
Yeah.
But
No, but he's not in there for too long. But I'd have to ask him specifically, like
Yeah.
how many minutes. Yeah.
no, that's so when doing like the spa therapy, right, or the in the hot box, I guess you could call it. What's the recommended, like when you're in there, are you asking them to do certain either meditations or to think about certain things or like what besides the actual benefits of being in the spa and the hot sauna, like what are you instructing people to do when they're in there?
I mean, honestly, it would just be a really good time for meditation,
Yeah.
to be honest, because, I mean, even if you go with friends, but everybody's kind of, resetting themselves as well. And so that would be a good time to meditate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With everything going on nowadays, 'cause I know now it's the hot word is mental health, and I think May is actually mental health awareness month, right?
is.
Damn it, see, it's great timing, great timing that we have on this. With May being mental health awareness, do you see a lot of blowback or a lot of I guess especially being here in El Paso, where the Mexican culture is so against even saying that they have a mental health problem.
Yes.
Do you get a lot of pushback here locally?
We do.
Yeah?
We do. I mean, I've gone to events where it could be where we're there like for adults, right? Like
Right.
an event that's for adults or for seniors.
Mm-hmm.
And they're the ones that actually push back a lot.
Really?
And not wanting to get information, or they'll tell me, no estoy loca, no estoy loco. And it's like, no, sometimes in speaking to the seniors, it's like, well, don't you feel lonely sometimes? Like, how do you manage, being alone? Because they'll tell me like, well, my kids don't even come around anymore to visit, or,
Right.
and I ask them like, how do you deal with that? And, letting them know that we can help them as far as like learning different ways to either keep their minds like preoccupied, or
Yeah.
not to, go into depression or feeling anxious, because they have all this time to themselves. And so a lot of the times it's also how they were raised, right?
Yeah.
And even how we were raised, because I know that, and I've mentioned this on different podcasts before, but growing up, I always was sick of my stomach. Like my stomach hurt all the time.
Okay.
And I would be at school, and I remember like my mom would take me to different doctors to see like what was wrong with me.
Right.
Right. And nobody could tell her, like give her a diagnosis, until finally a doctor at Texas Tech was like, it's just nerves. It's nerves. And but it would make me sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
And I couldn't really pinpoint like what it was that was making me feel that way, but that was really all my childhood, even into adulthood.
Wow.
And mental health wasn't talked about
Right.
back then, or seeing a therapist, or much less getting put on medication.
Yeah.
If anything, they took me to a sobadora in Juarez
La limpia.
because I was empachada.
Yeah.
So that's what happened to me. But yeah, it's just the older I got, and the more I started to learn about mental health, mental illness, and that really opened up my eyes as to what I needed to do for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think was a turning point now within just society finally accepting, or I guess even mentioning the word mental health? Because like you said, when we were younger, once something came up like mental health, it was mentioned, automatically everybody's like, no, we're not crazy, we're not this, we're not that. What do you think was a change within societies that now we're focusing on that?
I think a lot of people are talking about it now.
Yeah.
So, the word is out there.
Yeah.
And that there are, there's access to care now that really specifies in that. And not, I think like when we were younger, at least I wouldn't hear of any you
Yeah.
know, clinics or like behavioral health clinics or things like that. Or even professionals going to our school. Like, really, the only thing I can remember is counselors, like, but it was more for what are you going to do after school
Yeah.
type of thing.
Yeah.
It was never talking, like, they wouldn't talk to us about our feelings or
Mm-hmm.
emotions or anything. Besides, like, maybe the only thing, other thing I can think of is like when we had like sex education classes or anything like
Mm-hmm.
that, and talking about like maybe hormonal changes and stuff like that, but never about our mind.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
counselors would usually talk at you, not to you. They would never really bother trying to have a conversation. They're just there to get paid and just walk in and walk. I didn't even know what, I didn't even know who my counselors were when in high school. I never even met them. So that just goes to show how important they were. So what do you say to the older generation? Like, I know my pops is mid 60s, and I mentioned to him, I have a friend that's been dealing with, blah 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 mental health, and all of a sudden, like, as soon as the older generation that hears that mental health word, they start rolling their eyes like, ugh,
Yeah.
just grow up and fucking pull up your boots and you got to get a
Like, get over
man
it
up.
type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your response to somebody who says something like that?
I mean, it's psychoeducation. Like, we just have to really educate them on just different, like, for example, if it's depression, just really talk to them about what that looks like,
Yeah.
and what can help them, what benefits them.
Yeah.
It really is talking to them and just being like consistent. But there's a lot of men, in general, that don't seek help, period, because they think that's a weakness.
Yeah.
As it is, I mean, mental health or mental illness a lot of the times is seen as a weakness,
Right.
or just even talking about it, it's like, no,
Yeah.
but I think with the older generation, it really is talking to them. I think that there's been situations where tragedies have happened, that has, unfortunately, because of that has changed how people view
Yeah.
a mental illness. And so we do encourage, like, we see a lot of moms that come in, like older moms that come in, and they'll be like, no, like, my husband doesn't want anything to do with it, or so they're fending for their children.
Yeah.
Right. And we see a lot of that now. But I mean, yeah, it wasn't things that we would talk about before. So it's just really putting it out there, making sure that that as a community we're talking about it a lot more. And I
Yeah.
know that people don't like to necessarily hear it.
Right. Right.
Like the older population may not, until maybe they start going through things,
Yeah.
right? And then it hits a nerve, and maybe that's when they're open to receive services. But yeah, I mean, the Hispanic culture is a little more difficult to
Oh yeah.
get through. Yeah.
But also, it's the problem, well, not the problem, but I guess the issue I see is that when somebody does either, let's say, for example, somebody in school, right? They're lazy. They don't want to do the work, and they just don't want to do it because I don't need this. I don't. Why do I need to learn this? Whatnot. And then when it comes down to, hey, well, your kid is failing because of, they got like a 7 in their, as a grade when they need to have a 70, and then when they try to go talk to the kid, be like, hey, dude, well, what's going on with you? Automatically, one of the scapegoats nowadays is, oh, it's because my mental health, whatnot. Like, then all of a sudden, people are like, oh, no, we got to pass this person in because, they've been going through a lot and they have this and that. And now it's more of an excuse instead of an actual, like, diagnosis, because a lot of people nowadays want to do self-diagnosis because they've heard it from somebody on TikTok, somebody from Instagram, and they use that more as a crutch to actually do something, whatever it is that, whatever they're trying to get done at the moment. How how can we, like, as you guys, as mental health specialists within the behavioral health world, how can you guys kind of weed those out and be like, hey, dude, because that's putting a bad stigma on something that's trying to bring light to, you know what I mean?
Correct.
How can you weed those dudes out and be like, hey, no, it's not that, it's just that you're lazy. You know
Well,
what I
I've
mean?
seen that happen.
Yeah.
I mean, given the fact that I have worked at different facilities,
Yeah.
you know, we see sometimes I would see children that would keep coming in to receive services, but it would be, and they would be open once they'd be like, you know, in the receiving services, they would be like, yeah, you know, I just said that because I didn't want to, I don't know, take the star
Right.
or whatever it was, right? And I mean, they'll even joke about it, but that's sad because then the people that really do need the services, you know,
Yeah.
sometimes can't access them.
Right.
So I have seen that. I have personally seen that, and I think that, you know, I mean, the professionals do catch on, and we know when someone is really, you know,
Right.
going through things, or if it's just more of a joke to them.
Yeah. Because a
Yeah.
lot of people just want to be included because that's like the hot thing right now is that all my mental health and I have this, that, and the other, and he, her, they, them, this, that, whatever, and they just want to be included so they're not left out, I guess. But like you said, it's 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 sad that people want to. I guess with the people that we have nowadays, with the younger generation, they want to be part of that instead of just actually acknowledging that. No, I just it's not me at all. Because I know a lot of people have said view this generation now, the younger generation, as weak because I mean all the participation trophies, all the things that we're catering to them now instead of being like, no, you got to work through it on your own. You know, you got to man up and do what you got to do. And they say what hard times make strong people and good times make weak people. And I think right now that's helping. That's happening a lot, especially with the Instagram. Like I said, when you find people that are actually struggling with this, and then other people see them getting either recognition or outpouring support or love, and now they want to be the next victim. And a lot of this youth is doing that victim. Well, it's not victim blaming, but it's more they want to be the victims so they could receive those accolades from people that they don't deserve. What is it that we as parents do you think we can do to help get these kids out of that mindset of being a follower?
Well, I mean, I think every situation still needs to go through like an assessment process, right? Because you don't really know
Until you know.
until you know, yeah. So I would recommend to still have whoever's making like the outcry be seen, and see what's appropriate, you know,
Yeah.
because I mean maybe to some extent they might have like stressors,
Okay.
but does it maybe require like lesser treatment setting? Maybe so.
Right.
And not to be like an inpatient hospital.
Right.
But going back to what you were saying, there'd be some times where kids even would plan to be at a specific location, receiving services because they knew that someone else was there, or
Right.
you know what I mean. So yeah, there's kids that try to play
The
the
system.
system as well, but that's when like I said, as professionals, you really do have to assess the client and see if they really do need that extent of services.
And when you assess a client, right, and now you're telling them, you know what, dude, you don't belong here. Like, what's the easy way to let somebody down and be like, you know what, you got to get the hell out of here. Like, this is I don't know why you're here. What's like when you come across those people? Like, how do you deal with them? Like, do you just tell them, you know what, man, y'all just wasted my time, or like how do you deal with them?
I mean, it would be conversations that need to be had around like appropriate levels of care or like appropriate treatment. Because again, even though we see a lot of like outpatient clinics and stuff that are opening up and are there, and the access is maybe more available, we don't want to take away those resources from people that really do need it,
Right.
right? So it's really having sometimes those tough conversations with the parents, or letting them know, like, maybe this type of service isn't for him.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it needs to be more like in a family dynamic situation where they work closely with their kids and know exactly, you know, what they're doing, or, you know, maybe giving them that encouragement.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, not everybody needs to be like an inpatient or, you know,
Medicated or
no, yeah.
yeah, no, that's usually the U.S. way of, you got a problem, well, here's a medication. Let's just let's just go that way and get you dependent
And
on
not to
those
say,
meds.
yeah, but not to say too, like medication is always bad, right? I
Right.
mean, it does have its benefits,
Right.
and for those that have tried maybe other natural ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it just hasn't worked for them. So they do turn to medication, and they have been good on it, right?
Right.
So I mean, medication may not be for everybody, but it has helped as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of the big thing going around nowadays is anxiety, and I think it kicked in a lot more when COVID hit, because now people were forced to be stuck at home and deal with their problems, I guess, a lot more internally, because a lot of times we don't see the problems that we have at home because we're busy running around, because the kids got soccer, the kids got football, the kids got that, your daughter's got track and field, there's ballet, and you're everywhere doing 50 things at once. And, you know, like we were saying earlier, where there's not enough time during the day. And I know anxiety seems to be like super big right now, as far as for people, just because a lot of the stuff is just overwhelming right now, right? We have so much on our plate, especially as parents, especially as grandparents. You know, we have so much on our plate. Is there any simple tricks for people that are dealing with anxiety that you might be able to, you know, give them something just to be able to, I guess, handle, like when you get not necessarily a panic attack, but once you start feeling anxious, what are a few simple things or tricks some people could do just to calm back down and get back to normal?
Well, actually, today it's funny because I did post something on social media about anxiety and just different ways to cope with it.
Okay.
One of them is like box breathing. So what it is like you imagine a box, and you know you breathe for certain amount of seconds, like going up the box and then the top, and you know. So breathing techniques would be one.
Okay.
Another thing too was like what I had mentioned about using your senses. And again, it could be anywhere you're in, not just out in nature, but anywhere where you're at, to keep your mind like preoccupied with that instead of
Right.
having that worry, right? Or what's causing your anxiety. And yeah, I mean, it's just even like realization as far as like you can think like that you're in a specific area, or like sometimes like I'll think of like maybe a fun trip I had, right? Or and just put myself in that situation and try to say, oh, okay, you know, like I remember how the sand on my feet felt, or like the ocean sounded, you know, and I start thinking about things like that.
Okay.
So that tends to help me
Okay.
with my anxiety.
Do you find yourself getting anxious a lot now when dealing with a lot of people, or like taking on kind of the things that certain people are going through? Like, say, for example, if today you met up with like 8 clients and 6 of them were highly either depressed, like, do you feel that like weigh you down at the end of the day, like, or or if they're like highly anxious, do you feel yourself anxious at the end of the day? Do you take on their problems, I guess you could say?
Yes, and that's something that I personally have to work on. Because, you know, being in this field, you have to be very empathetic
Yeah.
and sympathetic. And I mean, you're human, so you're gonna feel, you know, for certain situations. And I do find myself like having to like at the end of visiting with anybody that's going through something, like to separate and kind of reset myself, because if not, I'll just be thinking about it
Right.
like all the way home, or like it'll just be on my mind. So I also wouldn't want me or my staff to go through burnout because of
Right.
that, right? So just making sure that we're okay and taking care of ourselves, because that's important, right?
Yeah. So in your field, is there a lot of burnout?
There is, and that's why it's very encouraged to do a lot of like self care, making sure. And I'm not saying go get your nails done and go, but whatever that self care looks like for the individual, you know. I know clinicians like to like disconnect and read books or journal or whatever it is that it looks like for them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to go get your nails done, but but just really processing like your thoughts and disconnecting from like your day to day,
Right.
right?
Well, a great way to do that is to go out to Mijo Palooza, a pillow fight this
Yes.
week, and see a bunch of people get their asses kicked with pillows. That's always a good thing. I know you have a second location opening up pretty soon.
Yes.
Where is it? Can you tell people where they could find that second location pretty soon?
Yeah, so we're really excited. It's taking a little longer than I expected.
It usually
but
does.
I know, but we're gonna be off of Montana and Saul Kleinfield,
Okay.
and again, I mean, it's we actually serve a lot of clientele from the east side, so it'll be easier access for them,
Yeah.
and we're just excited to get going.
When do you foresee that second shop opening up?
Hopefully by the end of this month.
Okay.
And I would really love it to be at the end of this month since it's, mental
Health awareness. Yeah.
month. Yes. But if not, I mean, as early as next month.
As early as June. So, is there anything different going to be offered at this new location that you're excited about, or is it going to be the same? Not a copy paste of the original location. Is there anything new that you're bringing to this next or to this east side location?
Well, I mean, I'm open to ideas. So it's not anything that I also wouldn't do at our first location.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, as things come up and definitely thinking outside the box. Yeah, I mean, whatever we can think of to make sure that we offer that to our
To better
clients.
serve.
Yes.
That's awesome. Congrats on that second location.
Thank
That's going to be awesome
you.
because it's always good to see people doing well, especially when it comes to doing anything that has to do with mental health. Like you said, like we said earlier, around the raza here, it's kind of rough, man. These guys are hard to be like, no, we're good. Just drink a Sprite and you're good. Some crazy shit like that. But so I know we were talking about. We had mentioned earlier about the Mijo Palooza, and you are, like I said, I mentioned when we first started, you're one of our sponsors. I know we had talked off camera, and you were saying that like you know or you've heard about Mijo's Foundation, right?
Yes.
What is it about Mijo's Foundation that drew you to it and to being a sponsor for their event?
Well, for me, I actually saw or learned about them on social media, right? On YouTube, watching another podcast.
Yeah.
And just learning about their foundation, and helping like the younger generation,
Right.
is something that I really give them props for,
Right.
because that's our future America, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So so just for the cause that they're doing it,
Yeah.
that really is intriguing, and I'll support it 100%. So
Yeah. So with this money that we're raising for the for Mijo Palooza for the pillow fight, like I said, our fourth annual one out here at the yard. What it is that we're gonna be all money that comes in to the event is going to the Mijo Foundation or Mijo Thing Foundation, and what they're gonna do is, I believe, June 20th. They're doing an all-age football camp with the El Paso. It's a free football camp for everybody. So basically, you have Mary Lou here to thank for paying for you guys. So it's going to be a free football camp that will not only teach the kids about football, safety drills, and stuff like that, but one of the things that's super cool from talking to Derek and Josh and the guys at Mijo Things is what they do is they like to bring in people who are not only athletes but also business people, different career paths. Have them come in and speak to the kids because, and parents, I know you don't want to hear this, but your kid isn't going to be in the NFL. 99% of the people that are pro athletes don't are it's like eighth of It's an eighth of the amount of people that actually play football in the country. So the likelihood of your kid being the next Aaron Jones or Will Hernandez is slim, or not slim, but it's hard. But what these guys will do is they'll come in and not only teach the football method, but teach you other aspects of life in case you're not going to be that football star. You know, you want to be more towards the business side. You want to be more towards whatever it is that they have. They offer that also. They have people come in and speak to the youth in the community, which I think is pretty freaking cool. It's something different and is not just giving people the false illusion that you're going to be the next great LeBron James or superstar or whatever it is. And I think that's something that is needed because we need doctors, we need people to help out. We need health professionals, mental health professionals. We need all this stuff, and these guys at the Mijo Foundation will be able to help provide that through a camp. And like I said, with your sponsorship, it's going to be going towards that. So it's going to be awesome, man. And again, I can't thank you enough for them on behalf of them as ourselves. Now, before we go on, we have a little segment that I told you about earlier. It's called 10 Shots, No Chaser, where we have 10 questions for you that are pretty at random. The way it should work is the first thing that comes out of your head, just going out and trying to speed round this. I think I got a little bit more than 10 because, like I said, I'm going on 2 hours of sleep. So my sense of checks and balances is a little bit off right now. But this is something that we've had a lot of fun with. So, like I said, some of these questions are serious. Some of these questions are not. For example, starting out right off the bat, what's the most El Paso excuse that you've ever heard for someone avoiding therapy?
The most El Paso.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what I mentioned earlier about not being crazy.
Yeah.
That's probably like
That's the go-to?
Yeah.
Okay. What's more dangerous, tequila after midnight or texting your ex after midnight?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know. But which one? Which one?
Which one holds the most danger?
Yeah.
If you were to pick one.
Probably the tequila.
The tequila? Okay. Have you ever diagnosed somebody in your head while standing in the line at Walmart?
Not on purpose.
So that's a yes. And let me tell you, a lot of people I see at Walmart, make sure you get a hold of Tranquil because I see some wild shit at Walmart. I can't even go to Walmart no more. They trip me out. Let me see. Okay, well, actually, we already asked that one. What's the biggest lie people tell themselves to avoid getting help?
That they can do it on their own.
Okay.
I think we hear that a lot, but then, nothing changes. So it really isn't that they can do it on their own.
Okay. Do you think trauma gets passed down through generations in Hispanic households?
Yes.
How?
Because cycles seem to continue, so
Okay.
that trauma might continue maybe in a different form, but there's some type of trauma that has been, or that I've seen, right? Like maybe a father that was physically abused or something like that, and instead of changing that and wanting, a different avenue for their kids or their family, that might be like what ends up happening in their go-to, right?
Yeah. Okay. What's more damaging today, absent parents or emotionally unavailable parents?
I would say, man, and I can't pick both.
Well, which one is more damaging, I guess you could say.
Yeah. I mean, I think even if parents are there and if they're not emotionally available, then it just kind of defeats the purpose of having, your mom or
That
your dad
stability
there.
there.
Yeah.
Okay. I think Cash agrees because he's over there. What's the difference between being strong and simply emotionally numb?
So it just depends. I mean, if you're if you're told to be strong,
Mm-hmm.
right, and to get through things without maybe asking for help,
Okay.
I don't see that as something good. And
Right.
then what was the other one you mentioned?
Shit, I gotta go back to it.
Sorry.
Being simply just emotionally numb.
Yeah, I mean that's not good for you either.
Yeah.
So you're asking me if one's better than the other?
Well, just basically, what's the difference between it? Between somebody just being strong and then them just being like emotionally dead, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I mean, the difference would be, like I said, I mean, maybe being emotionally, like how you said, dead, or
Hmm.
that kind of goes into to trying to be the strong one,
Okay.
right?
What's a moment with a patient that changed you as a person?
Um, I can think of one situation
Okay.
where it was he was either 5 or 6,
Mm-hmm.
and he was in the foster care system. And it was in an inpatient. I was working in an inpatient hospital, and I remember he was going to meet a new family for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
and he got to speak to his social worker prior to meeting the family,
Okay.
and he was like trying to plea for him, like, trying so hard to speak to the social worker about, like, I promise I'll be good, I'll be good, and
Mm.
just really wanting to be loved.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that just broke my heart,
Mm.
because at that time, my kids were younger,
Mm.
so I could see them in that little kid, and it was just,
It hit home.
it did, it
Yeah.
was hard.
Jeez, I can't. I don't know how you get. I don't know how you'd be able to go. I'd be like, no, I'll take them.
Yes.
I'll take them
You
for like a
do. You want
week.
to take
I'll
them all
take.
home.
I'll take them for a week. Get them house broken and then. um. Oh, that was a good one that I have here. When people say I'm okay, what are they usually really saying?
That they're not.
Okay. And the second to the last question is, in your opinion, what destroys families more quietly than people realize?
More quietly than people
Mm-hmm.
realize. I mean, I would say not having that communication,
Mm-hmm.
like, parents with their children, or being emotionally available, is one that would really impact a kid.
Okay. And the final question we have for you on this 10 Shots No Chaser Tranquil Minds edition. What's one sentence you wish every struggling person could hear right now?
You're not alone. And I'm coming from the angle of myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being diagnosed with depression and anxiety. So it mental illness doesn't discriminate.
Mm-hmm.
So it can affect anybody,
Yeah.
and even professionals, right? So it's not just because we serve, the behavioral health community, that we don't have our own issues.
Right.
So it's okay to not be okay and to ask for help.
Absolutely. That's the 10 Shots No Chaser Tranquil Minds edition with Ms. Mary Lou Morales. Mary Lou, I appreciate you taking the time. Like I said, congrats on the second of many more to come locations.
Yes, knock on wood.
Hopefully open within the next few weeks. Before we head out, is there anything else you'd like to? Well, first of all, where could people, if people want to get more information about the services you guys provide, where can they get that information?
So they can go on our website.
Okay.
It's www.tranquilmindsbh.co.
Okay.
And then we're also on social media. So we're on Facebook, Instagram, we're on LinkedIn
Okay.
as well. Or they can call the office. Our number is 915-671-2166. And we're located between Piedras and Cotton on Bassett Avenue Street.
Okay.
So a lot of people get confused thinking we're at Bassett Center.
Yeah.
We're not there. The street name is Bassett Avenue.
Okay.
But no, I mean, definitely if they want to reach out, you know, we have all those means of how to reach out to us.
Awesome. So before we head out, any last words you'd have for the people either listening that might be on the fence about, you know, do I need it? Do I not need help? Or just anything in general? Any last words you'd have?
I mean, nothing's wrong with asking for help, so I would encourage it, whether it's with us or just with anybody, right? Because the last thing we want is for it to get to the point of a crisis. So we want to be able to try to nip it in the bud before it even gets to that situation.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you, Ms. Mary Lou. Like I said, I know it's been a long day here at the end of the day, finishing it up. And again, as a business owner, as a mom, grandma, all that good stuff, the day's never really over. But
No, you're right. It doesn't end.
no, you switch one job for another, so one hat for another. But I appreciate you. Make sure you guys go Tranquil Minds on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. All the information will be on there. Or reach out to Mary Lou, even if you don't think you need help. But if you have that question, if you're ever questioning, do I? Or if you have that question in there, just reach out, because it's always better to err on the side of caution than before it's too late. Till next time, guys, we'll see you guys. Be cool. Don't be mean to each other. Peace.
Thank you.